I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another review. There's another paid request, this time for Gunnel, and I apologize for the lateness of this. I'm trying to get them out as soon as I can. But this was a paid request, and for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, it could be reviews, topics, reactions, re-reviews, randomness, out of the blueness, pretty much anything. Feel free to send them either directly to my PayPal, join my Patreon. Either way, both links are down below in the info box. I promise I will get to them no matter what. And this is for the 2003 film Wrong Turn. And part of the lateness is I had to find the DVD because the DVDs are scattered around because I wanted something to show. As actually, I do not only thank you for the paid request, but thank you for it being this one, because I've been meaning to watch this again. Because I saw the remake, which I was not a fan of. I know someone mentioned, and he was nice about it, but he mentioned, well, what's wrong with the remake? They try to do something different. Isn't that better than just doing a Xerox? I agree. Like I said in the review of that, I agree, but nothing about that screamed Wrong Turn. Like even John Carpenter's The Thing, if you compare it to The Thing from Another World in the 1950s, is very different because John Carpenter's film is based on more on the short story, but at least that's about an alien, and The Thing from Another World is about an alien. The new Wrong Turn is just they're in the woods. That's the only similarity. If that was called The Forest, or The Final Terror, or Madman, or Deliverance, or Southern Comfort, or any other things, it could have been called Southern Comfort, and it'd be the same I mean, that's my point, is that you could have called it anything, and there would be no difference. That's not the only reason I dislike that film. I think the characters were snobby and uptight. I thought the movie was way too long at 1 hour and 50 minutes. I thought the death scenes were not really all that. Maybe the first one, the aftermath, but after that, not so much. The villains I thought were lame. I didn't give a fuck about the Foundation, and we want America great. I don't give a fuck. And then I watched this. I'm like, this film, I'm sorry, in my opinion, is way, way better. I saw this in the theater back in 2003. I was one of the few that saw this in the theater. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it in the theater. Enjoy it now. It's 1 hour and 24 minutes. If you take away the end credits, it's 1 hour and 17 minutes. So it's a much faster paced movie. It knows what it is. It's in, it's out, it's quick, it's entertaining. I thought the cast did a better job. I liked Eliza Dushku, who was in, she played Arnold's daughter in True Lies. She was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show. She's been in other stuff. I think she did a good job. I also liked Desmond Harrington, this guy here. There you go. I liked him because he was very quiet, but he was smart. He was using his wits. He was pretty badass too. You know, come on, you motherfuckers, just die. I liked how smart the character was. He was using his head. I'm like, okay, this wasn't really a dumb fuck. Even the one guy, Jeremy Sisto, that sadly he's not in the film much, he was entertaining. You know, he wants to get married to his girl. I don't know, man, you know, maybe, I don't know, a faux James Brown, that's intolerable. And lo and behold, people trying to do the best to help each other. You know, this guy, Desmond Harrington, hey, I'm going to be the bait. He goes off, but sadly he gets shot in the leg. And then Jeremy's sister's like, no, I'll be the bait. You guys go help him. Wow, people trying to help each other out, and they didn't act like snobs. Yeah, the one girl here, she was not the best. Like, she was a bit irritating. But she does get a good death scene. There's some CGI enhancement that doesn't hold up the best, because this was 2003, but there's some decent practical makeup effects. It's not, I wouldn't call this a gory film. I wouldn't. I would call the Hills of Eyes remake gorier than this, and I would say I'd put that above this, the Hills of Eyes remake, but I thought Rob Schmidt, I think this was the first film he did, and sadly he didn't do much. He did, I think, one more film with Eliza Dushku, but the Alphabet Killer, or Bird, I forget what it's called. Sadly he didn't do much, which is too bad. If Rob Schmidt ever sees this, I thought you did a good job with this. And I didn't realize this had a commentary with the director and the 2 stars. Maybe I'll listen to that sometime, if I get time. But it goes, boom, it gets in there. It doesn't take too much time. You have these 2 hydras that get killed. Desmond Harrington, he's a doctor. He's trying to get to where he needs to go. There's a traffic jam. He's got to take the shortcut. You have this redneck with his fucked up teeth. I thought that was a nice casting job. Legitimate. You're the one that's going to need taken care of. I did a nice bit of casting. And very soon after, he accidentally hits another car. That car was already fucked up because there's barbed wire in the road. Now with our cast of characters, we got Eliza Dushku. And no, they're not in-depth characters. But you know what? If you can't do in-depth characters, then give us characters that have either personality or some amount of likability to them, or just something else for me to be drawn towards, or them do decent stuff. And Eliza Dushku, Desmond Harrington, they do stuff that are worth a shit and make me root for them. Now, Stan Winston worked on the makeup effects, whether it be the 3 inbred hillbilly mutants, and I thought the makeup on them fairly good. I'm sorry, they're more of an interesting threat than the fucking Foundation, a bunch of people wearing ghillie suits with fucking deer antlers on their heads. Again, I know you don't want to do a Xerox, but the Child's Play remake was different from the original, but it was still a fucking doll. Okay, again, John Carpenter's the theme was different, but at least it was about a fucking alien. Well, not a fucking alien, that'd be, you know, the porno version, but you know what I mean. Don't make the Wrong Turn movie then. I mean, if you call that movie The Hunt Part 2, remember that movie The Hunt that came out a year or 2 ago? Some people didn't like it, I didn't mind it. If you call Wrong Turn The Hunt Part 2, it would make more sense, Sally, than Wrong Turn. And I'm sorry, I thought this was done better when it was faster paced. The characters were not snobby bitches. Like, these characters didn't feel snobby and uptight and full of themselves like they're better than others. It doesn't try to put political bullshit in it. Because I'm tired of that in movies. Because, yeah, Get Out was a good movie. Doesn't mean every fucking film has to do it. And there's some people who didn't like Get Out. I did, but not every fucking movie has to do it. Fuck's sake. Wrong Turn 2. They had a guy who happened to be black. And you know what? They didn't put political shit. They just have him be a character. I thought he was an interesting character in Wrong Turn 2. I liked Wrong Turn 2. Not as much as this, because the budget is dropped down. Like this, you could tell, again, some CGI, it's not the best. Like there's a point where they climb the watchtower and, you know, the green screen. It's not, you know, the best, to be fair. But again, for a low budget in 2003, I cut a bit of slack. But still, there's some nice shots of the forest area, some nice shots of showcasing how alone they are. And the director tries to put some other interesting shots. For example, when these characters get to a cabin, they find all this weird shit, then they have to hide. And there's this nice shot where the camera goes through the keyhole and you see a person's eyeball. Yeah, it's CGI and not the best. But I like the idea. I like what the director was going for. The go through the keyhole, there's an eyeball, and in the reflection you see that these fuckers are cutting up a dead body, which is one of their friends. I like the idea of that shot. I like that some of these characters are trying to do a little bit of common sense. Not 100% common sense, but some of them are trying, like when they're hiding under... Eliza Dushku has her hand around her mouth so she doesn't cry out. Desmond is staying there, but I like his performance where you tell he's scared, but he doesn't want to let loose. And then they put a dead body of this girl. Nice makeup by Stan Winston's group where the barbed wire went into the woman's mouth. It got into her cheeks. I imagine you put barbed wire and that was a nice aftermath makeup effects, and the blood slowly pooling, and Desmond Harrington's looking at it, but he doesn't do anything stupid. It's just the idea that this blood's gonna be pooling around his hand. It's like, ew. It makes you feel as if you're in that situation. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna move either, but fuck, like just having that blood. That's what I mean. That's where you get characters who actually, at times, behave decently. And that's what I thought Desmond Harrington did for a lot of the points. That's what made him a likable character for me. Man of few words. Doing the best he can in this situation. Yeah, he fucked up hitting the car, but the car was already fucked up anyway. And it wasn't going to move no matter what anyway. Or very soon after, they're trying to sneak out, and Desmond Harrington grabs the wire of this door, and even though it's bleeding, he's holding on to it so that the others can sneak out and it won't make noise. And okay, that makes me feel for him, because he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to be unselfish. I'm going to hold this so it doesn't make noise, but you see the blood coming in, it makes me feel sorry for him. And again, there's some nice moments that the director sets up. The watchtower scene where they set the fire and your characters have to jump into the branches. I thought there was some decent stunt work of falling through the branches and having to converse around it. There's a moment where two characters are talking, all of a sudden this axe goes like they're talking. I thought that was a good moment in the theater, like, oh shit. I always love that moment. And they try to do in the remake and it fails, where an axe, they tried it, but it worked so much better. Because they see the road, they start talking, as soon as they start talking, boom, there's the axe. And then what does Desmond Harrington do? He fucking grabs the axe, and he's like, fuck you, Okay, yeah, he's not, oh, let's forget about the axe, let's not take it, no. He grabs the axe, and he tries, but he gets knocked back, and again, does the right thing. He gets knocked out, or knocked back, they take the girl, but he's like, no, I'm going to do the right thing. And he gets some decent kills. There's one person that they're in a tree, gets an axe. And again, some of the CGI in the background is not the most finessed it's not the most finessed. Because back in the day, again, it's 2003. It's not the effects today. And, they didn't have a big budget. But I like the idea where the body falls down, but the axe is keeping the top half still on the axe. I like that idea. That's an interesting kill. A person gets an arrow in the head. An arrow through the eye, actually, was a cool effect. You have folks trying to help each other. Hey, they got a truck, let's steal the fucking truck. Makes sense to me. Find a way to steal their fucking truck. I think Rob Schmidt I mean, it's written by Alan B. McElroy, who wrote Halloween 4, Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee. I think he would go on to write the movie Tekken. I know he was not happy with the script. He wasn't happy with the movie, which I guess is why he wrote the remake. I'm sorry, Alan B. McElroy. This is a way better film. The characters come off more likable, smarter, less political bullshit, less snobby, way faster pace, doesn't lollygag around. The mutants, I'm sorry, they're more intimidating foes than a bunch of fucking random cult members want to be Wicker Man, want to be the Village. Sorry. Maybe don't make the movie at all and save people the money. Yeah, I like the Desmond Harrington, his character shows common sense. Like, when a person dies, Desmond immediately covers Eliza Dushku's mouth, so she doesn't cry out and give their position. So again, it's a guy trying to think the situation out through and be smart about it. And even the finale, there's some Molotov cocktails and stabbings and arrow to the chest. Arrow to the head or axe to the chest. Come on, you motherfuckers, just die. And I'm not going to give point by point throughout the entire movie, but again, are there issues? The movie ends, the credits start, and then they start up again because there's a sequel bait ending. I don't think that was needed. Didn't need a sequel bait ending. Didn't need that at all. Just chop that off. I do like that the credits start, so you just end it when the credits start. Which some people might have done, and they don't realize there's credits go, and then there's another scene. So you didn't need a sequel bait ending, number one. Number two, again, some of the bits of CGI. Again, when the head is cut off, and then you see the body tumbling to the ground, or they're going through the keyhole to look at the eyeball. Yeah, some of the CGI's not the best. I like the intentions. I like the reason, the designs of it. But again, the CGI just doesn't hold up the best. Nice explosion at the end. I would like to have done... to just sit there and go, this is a one and done movie, so you really go to town on these mutants, these hillbillies, and really chop them up, make their head explode, and then, blow them up for good measure. They do a little bit of that, but again, I would like to even more so. And forget about sequels. There could always be more hillbilly mutants in the woods, or there could be another set of forest, or another set of woods, and other different hillbilly. If you need to make a sequel, you can always worry about that later. But that's a cliche I'm tired of. I'm tired of sequel bait endings. Just make your movie, finish it, worry about the shit later if you want to make another one. But make this one done. But the score is okay, but nothing really memorable. I'm trying to remember who did the music for this. So maybe a way to make the score a bit more memorable, because there's really nothing memorable about the score. There's really nothing bad about the score, but there's nothing that stands out compared to other horror films. Like the Hills of Ice remake has a really good score by Tom and Dandy. Especially when it's trying to be like a Ennio Morricone type of score, when Doug is getting his revenge and fucking these guys up. And the Hills of Ice remake does that with the finale as well. And yeah, that does have a sequel bait ending, but that, at least with the mutants, he does fuck them up royally, which is nice. And, fucking shotgun and pick or axe. Like, that was even more like, yeah, really tear them apart. And then again, that score really accentuates the violence and the retribution. And so I think it's aspects like that that make the Hills of Ice remake above this. But this is still a solid movie. It's still a solid cannibal, inbred, hillbilly, like whatever you want to call it, mutant movie. I do think it's the best of the Ron Turn films. It's way better than the remake. Again, that's almost 2 hours. This new, take off the end credits, it's 1 hour and 17 minutes. You're in, you're out, you're fine. Characters are not fucking unlikable snobs. The mutants, I'm sorry, they're more intimidating than a bunch of fucking people. Make America great again. I don't give a fuck. And even the kills in this, it's not insanely gory like other movies, but I got more out of the kills in this than the new one. So, usually you make a remake because you want to have something better. But what did the new one do better? I'm sorry, Brad Johnson and Snob. I'm sorry, other people who think it's better than this. I disagree. I think this is way better for the reasons I mentioned and more so. So, with that said, I think Eliza Dushku and Desmond Harrington did a good job. Even Jeremy Sisto, I felt sorry for his character because his character was actually kind of likable. And this guy here, there you go, right there, which I know you can barely see. And maybe worked on the score a bit. Maybe the ending. Then fuck sequel bait endings. CGI, maybe if there was... They'll never do it because it'd be too much money. But just to do a bit more finessing on some of those scenes. I don't really have much other issues than that. Very quick, in and out, entertaining. Doesn't take too much of your time. And... yeah, enjoyable film. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.